the situation in housing is just simply not going to get better anytime soon. And we can switch gears and go to commercial real estate.
Let me just add that some builders are now just taking bulldozers and bulldozing down the homes halfway built because they can't afford to finish them.
You're absolutely correct. And I know people who have physically, witnessed this. And some areas have got hit more than others. I have a letter going in tomorrow's issue from a subscriber of some 15 years. And he says he finally sold his condo in Miami, and he's taken a horrendous loss. But he says, I'm lucky to get rid of it. And you'll see the letter when you read the forecaster. But this is so typical. You're lucky to get out. And anybody that's contemplating buying, please don't do so. You better off putting whatever money you have in gold and silver and taking the ride up, and then maybe if you're fortunate and things do what I think they're going to do, maybe you can go pay cash for your house 7 or 8 years from now.
That's right. And we need to talk about gold and silver, but we'll talk about that after the break. Let me go to Jackie in California. Jackie, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hey, Bob. I wanted to ask you, what was your take, or what is your take, on this Sir Alan Stanford guy that pulled the big scam with the CDs?
He was running a money laundering operation with the Central Intelligence Agency. And some of the employees actually were hired via the CIA in some of the foreign countries where he had offices, because I've had that reported to me by some of my spies. And what they were doing is other drug lords were hiding money in his banks. And so he and the CIA wanted to steal their money. And so that's what they were up to.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been involved in close to things in narcotics for almost 20 years that I know about.
Will he be prosecuted, do you think?
Well, I was just going to get to that. He has been told last week that he will not be criminally prosecuted. So it'll be a civil case. And so that's very unusual. And it reminds me of BCCI in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to come back after this 3-minute break. We're going to talk gold and silver with our guest today, Bob Chapman, theinternationalforecaster.com. We'll be back after this 3-minute break. End of the free? I don't know about that, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Power Hour. Thank you for joining us today on the Power Hour. We have our guest, Bob Chapman. And before we go to the calls, because the line is, the callers have really filled up the lines fast here, let me just ask Bob, let's talk about gold and silver right now real quickly. Where are we at, gold and silver-wise?
If you look at the technical charts, there's reverse head and shoulders on gold, silver, and the HUI. The HUI is an index that plots non-hedged gold stocks, good quality companies. They're all in the same position. They're all waiting to break out and spike upward. And so I think we're right on the cusp of a breakthrough over 1,000. Whether it'll happen this month or in September, it's hard to say. But it's there, and it is going to happen. The fundamentals, of course, become stronger all the time. China has been a secret buyer of gold, and we said that for years. Nobody wanted to listen, and that's what they've been doing. They've been buying their own production and making private deals with other governments to buy gold, and they're going to have to buy a lot more. What they have is just kind of a spit in the ocean. And so...
Well, gold, I noticed, was at around $950. Is that correct, somewhere around there today?
Yeah, well, they have gold down about $10 today, but that's normal for Monday. That's the United States government in the market, and the government's trying to hold the Dow up, and they can't do it. It'll probably be down 50 or 100 points today. They attacked all the currencies trying to get the dollar up. They're being very unsuccessful this morning.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
You don't look at this day to day. You've got to look at it on a long-term basis. You got to get into the gold and silver coins, and you got to get into them now, because they're not going to wait for you. Once we're over 1,000, the thing's going to fly.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Once it's over 1,000, it's gone. Let's go to Tom in Missouri. Tom, you're on the air. Go ahead, please, with Bob Chapman.
Yeah, Joyce, this thing about audit the Federal Reserve or Ron Paul, all that does is just go to show you what a phony he is and always has been since the beginning. I mean, you don't audit criminals. You just shut them down, try them, convict them, and hang them for treason.
Well, I don't think that, I don't think that Ron Paul can just walk into the Fed and start hanging people. That's not the answer. Let me go back to, what do you mean what a phony Ron Paul is? He's the only person that's been standing
He's been a phony all along, Joyce. What did he do with all that money that all those millions of people donated to him, and I was one of the ones stupid enough to do it? He didn't spend a penny of it.
Well,
He's
we
just
don't
a
know
plant.
that. We don't know. We haven't seen the accounting. You haven't seen the accounting. Let me go to our guest, Bob Chapman. Bob, your response to this.
We have to try to go by the rules as long as we can. We only have two shots here, this bill and a possible bill on trade. Without that, the whole thing goes into the streets. So we have to try to live within the system as long as we can. Ultimately, what they're going to do is make criminals out of all of us. And when that happens, we're just going to have to act. There'll be 80 million well-armed Americans marching on Washington, and no army in the world is going to stop them.
That's it. Let's go to Joe in Arkansas. Joe, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Okay,
Joe in Arkansas. Are you there, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, please.
My question also is about Ron Paul's bill to audit the Fed. And that's, what committee is that bill in now?
Oh, gee.
It seems to me what would be a good idea now.
I don't know. It's probably the, maybe the office of, no, that's not it.
Okay, well, what seems to me would be a good idea now, if radio shows would give out the names of the committee members and ask people to call them directly and ask them to pass it out of the committee. My congressman became a co-sponsor. He wasn't at first, but after I called him twice, he did become a co-sponsor, probably because somebody more important than me was calling him too.
That would be excellent. I'll tell you what, let's, after this 1 minute, 10-second break, perhaps one of the Power Team members can find out what committee that is in, and we can post it on the website. We'll be right back. 1 minute, 10 seconds. Stay tuned.